objects, tents and other things to set up and recreate the situation that became so intolerable.
I want to say, see, Mayor Bloomberg likes to complain about how there's too much sound, and that we're harming people's ears with the drum circle here. It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. 1 o'clock in the morning.
Making laps.
And this is what the NYPD is doing with your tax dollars.
Indigenous peoples were the first casualties of this inhumane system, but we certainly are not the last ones, nor are we the only ones.
All persons must temporarily leave the park. If you refuse to immediately remove your property from the park, or refuse to leave the park, you will be subject to arrest.
The crises we are in today are no surprise to Indigenous people. From the time of invasion, Indigenous people understood that the ways of the invaders were incompatible with life.
They didn't give us any water. We had nothing back there. So many people, their circulation was being cut off, and you know when you got your hands behind your back, your shoulders are killing you. There was actually a man, he had a laceration on his eye, and we kept saying, please, we need help. He's losing hydration.
We need the freedom of speech! We need the freedom of speech! All of the press! All of the press! All of the right of the people! All of the right of the people! You assemble! Freedom to assemble! To the government! Invitation to government!
Years ago, I communicated with a policeman who wanted me to understand that it's the job of police to protect people from sociopaths. I agreed, and then I asked why it is that they don't protect us from rich sociopaths. And my African American friends asked why they so rarely protect African Americans from racism, from functional racism. And my women friends asked why they so rarely protect women from misogyny. Only 6% of rapists spend even one night in jail.
You disgrace liberty! You disgrace your family! You disgrace the world!
The police need to refuse to assault protesters, refuse to fire at protesters, refuse to harm protesters, refuse to arrest protesters.
Is the ruling religion of the planet, which is called patriarchy. Now, patriarchy takes human beings who are biologically male and creates a class of people called men. Men are made by socialization to masculinity, and that's a psychology built around entitlement, especially to another class of people called women.
And all of a sudden he's like, get her. And then I turn around and the cops are behind me, and I just started running. And I was running, they ran up, grabbed me, they tried to take my feet out from underneath me, and I'm like, don't throw me on the floor, just put the cuffs on. And as soon as I said that, they yanked the cuffs real tight. They were so damn tight, I couldn't feel my hands.
It's every 18 seconds a man beats a woman. That is more hatred than I can comprehend. So right now that battlefield is such a slaughter, we can't even gather up our wounded. So this is where all three of those systems, civilization, capitalism, and patriarchy, this is where they merge. Every day, more pesticides and fertilizers are dumped on these crops. Every day, more lumber is cut from our forests. More iron is mined from our mother. And more toxins spew from coal and nuclear power plants. This is what has resulted from colonial occupation. Given this history, I would like to add my voice to the voices of other Indigenous peoples who have called for a name change of the Occupy movement and Occupy Oakland specifically. When these movements use the language of occupation, it invokes all the destruction of the last 519 years. It precludes Indigenous involvement because Indigenous people from all over the world, from Australia, from Africa, from New Zealand, from South America, Central America, North America, from Palestine, any population living under occupation will cringe at that word. If you truly seek to align yourselves with the marginalized and with the dispossessed, it's imperative that you reject the language and ideology of the capitalistic colonial enterprise. Today, I encourage you to immediately abandon the language of occupation and instead replace it with decolonizing language that distinguishes you from the builders and players of Wall Street.